We're back with another Sacred Mountain Battle Report. Today we're playing Lasalle. This is the battlefield. It's going to be short table edges. We've got some standing crops and two roads on the east and west portion of the battlefield. Bavarians and Saxons enter over here. Prussians and Austrians over there. Those are the standing crops. We've got some swamps there that are impassable, hill in the middle, and a town. It's just kill points for this mission. Here are the Sexy Saxons. There are only, let's see, three brigades of infantry, foot gun in each brigade, and then a brigade of heavy cavalry with a horse gun. I should note that the Saxons may have the worst late war infantry in all of Lasalle, and that's what I have the most of, but that's all right. I'm having fun. Next up are two brigades of Bavarian veteran infantry, and they are also accompanied by a light company, and then they each have foot batteries. There's a horse gun and two regiments of cavalry. Here's our hosts, Austrians. They are mostly. Looks like he's got a unit of three companies of rifles and some shock infantry, resilient infantry in there as well. He's got two regiments of cavalry. You could see his camp there, and I think two regiments or two batteries of guns. Again, you'll note that the Allies are much better with regards to their artillery, rolling 4 dice hitting on 4 rather than the Saxons and Bavarians rolling 3 dice hitting on 4. And here's our new player's forces. He got instantly hooked and went out and bought some pre-painted Prussians, and we rebased them to be with our convention. He's supplementing it with some Austrians. Let's see, he's got 4 regiments of cavalry there, and then looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 battalions of infantry. I think this might not be all of his forces. I might not have gotten them all in here. But he is super stoked to play. This is his second game of Lasalle. And these are the Prussians. And you can see they're all shock infantry with those cross sabers. That means that they don't pay an extra complication when charging in mass. Okay, here's turn 1. This is the Bavarian. The way we're coming in 1 brigade at a time, and you have to come in march column on the roads. That's the Bavarians and the Saxons coming in. And then moving over, this is the Prussians coming in, and they came in with a mixed brigade of infantry and cavalry, but no guns. And then the Austrians coming in with cavalry and a horse gun. I also want to make a quick note here. Since we don't have any skirmishers out, and we're coming in road column, we have to roll off to see who is going to have the momentum first. The other issue is if you're coming in a road column, you're going to not have many skirmishers deployed initially, and those skirmishers need to come online as quickly as possible. Just a little tactical hint there. Okay, this is the end of turn 1. We've got the status phase has already been completed. You can see those Bavarians marching in. The Bavarian cavalry has moved up really aggressively, as has the Austrian cavalry contesting that hill. And then you have his next brigade still coming in March. The Saxons coming in March with their 2nd brigade. I've kept my general off and opted for the extra momentum. I came in, unlimbered my artillery, shot into the Prussians who lined up in line. I don't think I did much to him. And then his 2nd brigade coming in that looks like it's pure infantry plus a gun. So the players for the Prussians, the Austrians, and the Bavarians all used to be Civil War reenactors and still do it to a varying degree. Prussian player brought hardtack shaped sugar cookies to the game, which I thought was a super cool touch. All right, here's the Saxons coming in at the end of turn 2. I don't think I have my reinforcements deployed yet, and the Bavarians do. They're coming in again, road column, of course. They were able to get their guns in the action, shooting into the Austrians there at the foot of that hill. Put a battery on top of the hill. I was able to force the Prussians to square up with the threat of my heavy cavalry nearby. And those, I'm talking about bounces right there, going bounce through that square. It's always best to shoot your artillery or anything at a square just because it gives you a shift up, it gives you a better target. Back over to what I'm trying to set up over here for the Saxons is they would get in line, walk through the cannon after the cannon volley, and then volley again with the line infantry, which I was able to do to devastating effect to the Prussians, but it was probably a little too late in the battle. Okay, here we are at the end of turn 3. I'm kind of forming my grand battery, and I'm looking, telling you about the Fusiliers damage that I did, and describing the bounce there through all those different units with one of my cavalry. You can see my 3rd Regiment, 3rd Brigade coming on in March column. We got some retaliatory guns into the cavalry, the Bavarian cavalry, but the Bavarians were able to make a gun fall back, but at the cost of his cavalry. You saw those Austrian guns, and just a sacrifice of the Bavarians' cavalry to kind of disrupt the Austrians there. Here, the Prussians setting up a line assault with the cavalry or volley fire with the infantry. Here's kind of a cool still shot of the Saxon line staring down those Prussians. Here's the Bavarian lines getting into the meat of this very contentious heights to the north of the town, which, by the way, is named Marysburg after our hostess, who at various times during the game regaled us of her historical knowledge. Most interestingly was her knowledge of the Korean conflict and her personal tie to that, with her father being a veteran of the Korean conflict and grievously wounded in the northern portion of the Korean peninsula. And he made it to lieutenant colonel. And interestingly, his medals are on the wall, but not pictured. And he received a Greek Service Cross because of his service with the American artillery detachment serving with a combined UN Greek force, which is a really interesting medal to see on a colonel's chest, a Greek medal. Anyway, I thought that was great, and thank you, Mary, for having us over and being such a lovely host. This is what it looks like from the Prussian and Austrian side. They are pushing hard into the town. As you can see on that north side, it's pretty bottlenecked, and Jason's Bavarian cavalry are in deep trouble. So what happened here is my heavy cavalry came in and caused his lighter cavalry to fall back. And then this again is the view of the Saxon side of the battle. Next is the outcome of first of several battles over here on Hamburger Hill. The Austrians deleting 2 batteries of Bavarian guns from the heights. Here's the end of turn 4. I'm going to loop this so you can see these 3 different brigades that are in line of the Saxons next to the building. That's going to cost several momentum, but what you do is you're able to volley, step forward and interpenetrate, volley again, step forward, interpenetrate, and volley again. And that is a lot of dice going into any unit. Moving on to the Alliance side of the board, you can see the Prussians really starting to come in strong with some cavalry a little late game, and then the Austrians trying to get out of march order and get into this tight spot between St. Mary's and the hill. You can see the infantry stepping forward again and just pouring fire into the poor Bavarians. Here I'm explaining that the wounded heavy cavalry of the Saxons were wiped out by the Landwehr Lancers. Here another Prussian cavalry comes in and was able to destroy a unit of Saxon infantry. Now I'm taking great pains to tell you what a superior general I am with this grand battery that his men are approaching. I'm just telling you, oh man, this is great. I'm really going to destroy him here. I was able to use my general to emergency formation change to both garrison and square up right there in the face of that cavalry to make it much harder, and those lancers aren't the ones that would be charging me. And here those line infantry that'll step through and volley fire. You can see Hamburger Hill is getting really congested over there, and the Austrians are making a hard push. And here's another super cool still shot. This is the reason we play Napoleonics, just the spectacle of it. Here we go over to Hamburger Hill area. It is just ugly over here. We got some squared up Bavarian infantry. We've got some more Bavarian guns shooting in. We've got some Austrian cavalry coming in. Sorry for the gratuitous crotch shot there, ladies. He's taken, by the way. He's married to our lovely hostess. Here's me again describing what a brilliant general I am about this tactical genius level plan that I have that didn't work out very well. All right, here's the end of our last turn. You see Hamburg Hill's nearly cleaned out. I did step forward and volleyed with that line infantry behind. You can see the lack of Prussian infantry in front of me. I think that was pretty smart on my part personally, but maybe opinions vary. The Prussians pushing through with their final movements and volleys. And here we have the Prussians. Oh yeah, they were able to empty the town and destroyed one of my terrible infantry groups, which is kind of cool. With the first time we did melee in a town, and looks like I think that was talking about they ignore strong position. And let's see, looks like we've got some squares of mine in face of the Prussian cavalry. All right, so that was it. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. We are really liking this Lasalle rule set. It's becoming much more intuitive to us, and I think that it is definitely well worth your time. All you need really is the book, and then the ability to make your own tags by downloading the free PDF Army Builder on sammustafa.com. Still, struggling a little bit with the rules, mainly how to spend the momentum, and then getting the tactics down correctly for moving units and interpenetrating and using that economy of momentum and passing when you have two generals on one side. We've kind of figured that out. So what we do, if one general on the same side, like side A, passes, then that general can't move again until their side is interrupted. And the problem is if the other sides both pass, I think that would mean that general can't do anything for the rest of the turn, and all their momentum would be wasted. I believe he details this a little bit more in the club game sections of the basic rule book for the advanced rules. But for our next game, speaking of advanced rules, we probably will be using all of the emergency interventions, or I guess all of the different interventions, and probably huzzah as well. Not sure if we're quite ready for voltigeurs, partisans, and sharpshooters, but we'll see. All right, hey everybody, thanks for watching, and thanks again to our gracious hosts and for the delicious hardtack.